Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to see you all again today in a brand new episode, continuing the emotional and dramatic story of love between Hoai Ca and Officer Hung. In today's episode, Hung, a dedicated police officer, embarks on an especially critical mission with his team. After days of surveillance and evidence gathering, they finally trace the trail of a cross-border smuggling ring, highly organized and extremely cunning. Inside the command room, the atmosphere is tense, like a drawn bowstring. A large map is spread out on the table, with red marks indicating suspected hideouts of the criminals. Hung watches closely, his voice deep but firm. We only have one chance. Everyone, be fully prepared. Our move must be fast and absolutely precise. Outside, the sky is dim and heavy, cold mist sweeping through the wind. Special unit vehicles roll slowly into the night, their headlights slicing through the fog-covered hills. No one speaks, only the crackle of the radio and the sound of tense breathing break the silence, as they prepare for a real battle. In Hung's heart lies both duty and worry. He knows that even the smallest mistake could destroy the entire operation, yet behind him stands the trust of the people, and the quiet faith of Hoai Ca, the woman who always watches over him from afar. This mission is more than just a criminal case. It is a test of courage, sacrifice, and integrity for those who wear the police uniform with pride. Stay tuned and watch this episode closely to see what fate has in store for them next. The early sunlight filtered through the areca palm leaves, its thin golden rays threading through the light mist, settling on the dewdrops that sparkled like tiny pearls. From the far end of the village came the sound of roosters crowing, one after another, like a familiar morning melody, blending with the warm, smoky scent rising from moss-covered roof tiles. The breeze carried the fragrance of fresh straw, ripened rice, and damp earth, weaving together the unmistakable breath of the countryside after a long, peaceful night. Along a narrow dirt path still glistening with last night's rain, Hoai Ca rode her old silver bicycle with chipped paint. The wheels rolled softly, splashing a few drops of lingering dew. She wore a light sweater and a beige scarf, her cheeks flushed pink from the morning chill. The soft ring-ring of her bicycle bell echoed gently, blending with the chirping of birds in the bamboo grove by the roadside. Through the row of tall palms appeared Mother Ha's small house, low-roofed, its walls mottled with age, yet with smoke curling warmly from the kitchen, giving the scene a tender, homely feel. From afar, Hoai Ca could already hear the rhythmic thump of a pestle pounding sticky rice, the heartbeat of a lively morning. She stopped her bicycle at the gate, brushed off the dew from the handlebars, and gently pushed open the old wooden gate faded by time. Mom. Good morning. Her clear voice carried through the drifting kitchen smoke. From inside, Mother Ha called out, warm and cheerful. Oh, you're here this early. Come in, dear, I'm making GAC sticky rice. The whole house smells wonderful. Hoai Ca stepped inside. The soft smoke mingled with golden light, making the kitchen look almost dreamlike. On the old wooden table sat a basket of glistening white glutinous rice and a steaming pot of bright red GAC sticky rice. In one corner, a little cat curled up asleep, its tail twitching slightly in rhythm with the crackling fire. She took off her coat, hung it on the wall, and quickly joined her mother. Together, they washed dong leaves, rinsed rice, and mixed it with red GAC fruit. A bit of GAC paste stained her hands, and she laughed. Mom, look, my hands are all red. I look like I've caught a chill. Mother Ha chuckled kindly. That red means good luck, my dear. GAC brings fortune. Whoever eats GAC sticky rice at the start of the year or month will have blessings all year round. Hoai Ca placed a neatly wrapped bundle on the table, fresh pork wrapped in banana leaves. I bought a kilo of pork from the market. You can make savory sticky rice. the workers at the construction site will love it. Well, look at you. Mother Ha sprinkled sesame over the fresh batch and smiled. My daughter's clever now, thinking like a true businesswoman. With you helping, I feel so much lighter. Their laughter filled the small kitchen. The fire crackled beneath the pot, the sticky rice turning plump and fragrant. The rich aroma of GAC, fried shallots, and pepper blended into the air, warm and comforting, like the scent of happiness itself. After a while, Mother Ha sat down on the bamboo chair, stirring the rice slowly, her voice gentle and wistful. You know, this year is the first time I've ever received a gift for Women's Day, October 20th. I never thought, at my age, someone would give me flowers. All my life I've worked hard, just wishing my children peace. But this year, being remembered by you all. I was so happy I couldn't sleep. She smiled, but tears still rolled down her cheeks. Hoai Ca stayed silent, stirring the soup, her heart swelling with emotion. In a soft voice, she said, almost afraid to break the warmth of the moment. You deserve to be loved, Mom. I still remember when I was little, you used to pack me a small portion of GAC sticky rice for school. It smelled so good that everyone wanted a bite. Now that I've grown up, I just want to make you as happy as you made me back then. Mother Ha gently brushed her daughter's hair, eyes filled with affection. My good girl. Now that you have hung beside you, I can rest easy. A man who knows how to care, who thinks for others, that's someone worth keeping, remember that. Hoai Ca smiled, shy yet radiant with happiness. Hung's very thoughtful, Mom. Yesterday he came home early, cooked dinner himself, and gave me a bouquet of wild daisies. He said, they're just wildflowers, but my feelings are sincere. I don't need anything more than that. Sunlight slanted through the door, lighting up the faces of the two women. Their laughter mingled with the gentle bubbling of the pot, the cat's soft purr, and the birdsong outside. It was a moment so peaceful, so pure, as if all the troubles of the world had been left beyond the old wooden gate. The scent of damp earth mingled with kitchen smoke and the lingering aroma of GAC sticky rice, making the morning feel both tender and strangely familiar. Mother Ha sat by the porch, gently fanning the steaming pot of sticky rice. Wisps of warmth rose and blended into the soft sunlight. Her suntanned face, lined with gentle wrinkles, glowed with quiet joy. She spoke softly, her voice carrying a mix of pride and emotion. Ha called last night, my dear. He said work's been better lately. He even promised that next year, if things go well, he'll fix up this old house and take me on a trip somewhere far. Her voice trembled slightly. All my life, I've just stayed in this village, never gone anywhere. Hearing him say that made my heart flutter. Now, all I wish for is that you children stay healthy and safe, that alone makes me content. Hoai Ca fell silent for a few moments, her gaze resting on her mother's thin, calloused hands, hands worn by years of labor. A sting rose behind her eyes. She placed her hand gently over her mother's, squeezing it softly as she spoke in a hushed, trembling voice. Don't worry, Mom. From now on, Hung and I will come home more often. I'll visit every weekend if I can. Please don't stay alone too much. I don't want you to feel lonely. Mother Ha smiled, her eyes warm like sunlight filtering through the areca palms outside. My dear, I'm not afraid of being alone. I only worry about you all working too hard. I still have my garden, the chickens, the kitchen smoke. They keep me company. Every time you come home and fill this house with laughter, that's all the happiness I need. A gentle breeze swept through, making Hoai Ca's scarf flutter. Drops of water still clinging to the palm leaves fell plop, plop into the basin below the eaves, a delicate rhythm, like a quiet song of the rainy season. They both sat silently, watching the sunlight slowly spread across the distant fields where young greens glistened with dew. Hoai Ca leaned her head on her mother's shoulder and whispered, "When I was little, I thought happiness was something grand. Now I understand, mornings like this, with you, with the ones I love, that's enough." Mother Ha turned to her daughter, smiling gently, her eyes shimmering with all the love in the world. "You're right, my dear. Happiness isn't far away. It's in a warm dinner, in the smell of wood smoke, in the children who remember their way home." The wind rustled softly through the tall areca trees, their leaves whispering like an old lullaby of the land. Out in the fields, the sun had risen high, spreading golden light across the dew-kissed rice shoots. The two women sat there quietly, wrapped in peace. In a morning brimming with love and hope, where the remnants of old rain dissolved in new sunlight, leaving the mossy roof glistening beneath a sky as clear and tender as the heart of a mother from the countryside. At the same time, at the commune police headquarters, after days of relentless rain, the sky finally cleared. The storm had passed, but traces of its destruction remained everywhere. Broken branches scattered along the paths, a warehouse roof bent askew, puddles glistening across the muddy yard, and the heavy, earthy scent of damp soil rising into the humid air. In front of the gate, a few young officers were cleaning the storage area, scraping mud from the tires of their patrol vehicles. The sounds of sweeping, running water, and a distant rooster's crow blended together, a fleeting peace after the storm. Inside the meeting room, golden sunlight streamed through the window bars, falling across a large map on the wall. Red-marked areas labeled Hot Zone, Border Sector, and Old River Dock stood out against the faded paper. Stacks of case files covered the table, mixed with the scent of damp pages and freshly brewed coffee. The atmosphere was tense, a silence that often comes before something big is about to break. Hung entered the room. He wore his neatly pressed police uniform, though a trace of fatigue still lingered in his eyes. After weeks of recovery from an injury, this was his first day back, a return that carried both pride and the weight of duty. On his left arm, a faint scar from a past arrest remained visible, a quiet reminder of what it had cost him. At the head of the table sat the village chief, a man with streaks of gray in his hair, a cup of tea gone cold before him. Beside him was Officer Fong, the deputy captain, Hung's longtime comrade through countless dangerous missions. When he saw Hung, Fong stood up and patted his shoulder. "You look better. The team missed you these past weeks." Hung smiled slightly and nodded. "Not fully recovered yet, but enough to work. Staying home made me restless." The chief nodded thoughtfully, then spoke, his voice rough after many sleepless nights worrying about the villagers. "After the storm, the whole village is nearly wiped out. Luckily no one died, but all the crops are gone, and several roads collapsed. Some of the young men, they're being lured into crossing the border for illegal work." The room fell silent. Fong frowned and slid a folder across the table toward Hung. "They haven't stopped. This morning, scouts reported 3 unidentified men at the Old River Dock. Definitely smugglers regrouping." Hung opened the file, flipping through the pages quickly. The sound of paper rustled steadily until his eyes stopped on a handwritten report, the top corner stained by water, likely scribbled down during the stormy night. 3 male subjects, aged 30 to 40, carrying heavy sacks suspected to contain contraband. Seen around 3 a.m. near the Old River Dock, approximately 2 kilometers from the border post. Hung looked up, his voice calm but edged with steel. "They still haven't stopped, have they?" Fong's tone hardened. "Not only that, they've grown bolder. They're using the chaos after the storm to move goods. The river routes are quiet, hard to patrol. A heavy silence hung in the air. The ceiling fan clicked clack, clack, before fading into the thick warmth and the faint smell of cigarettes. The village chief clenched his teacup. If they slip across the border again, our people will suffer. Losing the crops was bad enough, but if drugs or contraband spread here, it'll ruin lives. Hung set the file down and stood upright, his eyes burning with renewed resolve. We won't let them run wild any longer. Get the team ready. We move out by noon. His voice rang through the room, firm and commanding. Everyone immediately stood to attention. Outside, the sound of engines filled the air. Officers gathered quickly, checking vehicles and equipment. Their uniforms were smeared with mud, sweat mixed with dust, but their eyes gleamed with determination. Fong adjusted his vest, testing the radio as he murmured to Hung. Let's end this, once and for all. The villagers haven't slept in peace for months. Hung tightened his helmet strap and looked out toward the dirt road still glistening with puddles. We're not just doing our duty, Fong. We're fighting for the people waiting back home. Engines roared to life, growling under the midday sun. The sunlight reflected off the nearby river, dazzlingly bright. The air was thick and hot, waves of heat shimmering above the road. The patrol truck rolled forward, splashing through muddy water left by the storm. Through the window, Hung saw the wide fields, flattened rice stalks, villagers mending fences, spreading straw, patching roofs. They looked up as the convoy passed, their eyes filled with quiet trust. From the radio came a sharp voice. Target confirmed, 3 suspects loading goods on the western riverbank. Hung picked up the mic, his tone steady, precise. Copy that. Maintain distance. Do not engage until ordered. Keep tracking. Fong nodded silently, tension in his eyes. Outside, the afternoon wind howled, carrying waves of heat. Sweat trickled down their necks, soaking their collars, but no one noticed. Inside the vehicle, no one spoke, only the rumble of the engine and the rhythm of steady heartbeats. Far ahead, sunlight glared off the murky river, where rippling waves seemed to hide something beneath. A pursuit was about to begin, and this time, Hung knew there would be no room for mistakes. Sunlight slanted through the bamboo grove, scattering across the reddish dust in a hazy glow. The engines cut off, leaving only the shrill chorus of cicadas and the heat rising in shimmering waves from the gravel road. The air seemed to tighten, so still that one could almost hear their own heartbeat. Up ahead, 3 suspects were struggling to haul large sacks from the riverbank onto a small truck parked near the water's edge. Each bag was heavy, tightly wrapped in black tarp, thudding with a dry, solid sound, clearly not ordinary goods. They whispered to one another, eyes darting nervously around, sensing danger nearby. From a slope farther off, Hung and his reconnaissance team lay hidden in the tall grass. He gave a silent hand signal, pointing toward the targets, eyes fixed on the smugglers. The wind rustled through dry reeds, brushing across the sunburned faces of the officers. In that breathless moment, everything stilled, only the rustle of leaves and the pounding of hearts remained. Then suddenly, a shout broke out, sharp as thunder in the midday heat. Freeze! Police! The command echoed across the muddy riverbank. The smugglers spun around, faces drained of color. Within seconds, they dropped the sacks and bolted in different directions. Boots pounded against wet ground, leaves crashed, and metal clanged. Chaos erupted like a storm. 2 men were subdued almost instantly. Fong and the others lunged forward, swift as lightning, tackling them to the ground and locking their wrists in seconds. The 3rd man took advantage of the dust cloud and bolted toward the thick reeds by the river. Left side. He's heading for the wooden bridge. Fong's voice barked through the radio, cutting through the roar of cicadas. Hung took off in pursuit. Mud splattered with each stride, his breath heavy, his heartbeat sinking with the rush of wind. Sunlight slashed through the reeds in thin, blinding blades, glinting like knives. Sweat streamed down his neck, soaking his shirt, but he didn't slow down. The smuggler ahead stumbled, glancing back in panic, shouting incoherently for help that would never come. Just a few meters away shimmered the river, golden and rippling in the late afternoon light, his desperate escape route. But before he could leap, Hung was already upon him. He lunged, seizing the man's collar and yanking him backward. Both crashed to the muddy ground, dirt flying in every direction. The impact was heavy, followed by labored breathing and Hung's firm, commanding voice. "Don't move. Police." The smuggler writhed, his face smeared with mud, voice trembling. "Please, I was just hired to carry the goods. I don't know anything." Hung tightened his grip, eyes sharp as steel. The law shows no mercy to those who aid criminals. Whether you knew or not, you'll answer for your actions. The metallic click of handcuffs snapped through the air, cold and final. The silver cuffs caught the evening light, gleaming with a harsh beauty, a symbol of justice served. From a distance, the team approached, boots sinking into the mud, chests heaving. The abandoned sacks lay scattered along the bank, torn tarps revealing tightly wrapped parcels inside, undeniable evidence. Fong gestured to the others to secure the area, his rough voice laced with relief. "It's over. All suspects in custody." A cool river breeze drifted by, carrying away the stench of sweat and gunmetal. The last sunlight stretched across the rippling water, reflecting on the exhausted but triumphant faces of the officers. Their ragged breaths, the static of the radio, and the earthy scent of mud blended into a single, quiet symphony. The final note of a fierce pursuit. Beneath the crimson sky, Hung removed his gloves and looked out over the river. In his distant gaze, the water mirrored both the fading light and the peace that had just been reclaimed for his homeland. At the station, the last rays of sunlight slanted through the window, spilling across the cluttered desk stacked high with papers and unfinished case files. The room was quiet, only the steady hum of the ceiling fan and the soft scratch of a pen signing documents broke the stillness, mingling with the faint scent of new paper. Outside, a few young officers washed the patrol vehicles, the sound of running water blended with birdsong echoing from the distant trees. Hung sat at the desk in the far corner, his posture firm, but his eyes betraying a trace of weariness. The chase had just ended. Sweat still clung to his collar, yet he continued writing the official report. Each word he penned was a fragment of truth, dry lines of ink carrying the effort, danger, and blood of those who stood on the front line. Suddenly, the shrill ring of the phone pierced the calm air. Hung picked up the receiver. Fong's voice came through, hurried and heavy. "Hung. We've got new intel. We just finished the interrogation. One of the suspects confessed. There's someone else behind this. A man who coordinated all the shipments and gave the orders." Hung froze. The pen halted mid-sentence, a drop of ink bleeding into the paper, spreading into a dark, cold blot. He looked up, eyes hardening like tempered steel. "So there's still someone pulling the strings?" he asked, his voice low but firm. "Exactly," Fong replied quickly. "From what we've gathered, he's closely connected to the group we caught. Could be someone who's worked in this area before." Silence fell once again. The sunlight faded, leaving only faint golden streaks crawling across the edge of the table, illuminating Hung's resolute face. He slowly closed the folder, rose to his feet, and looked out the window, where the sky was deepening into purple. The breeze slipped through the shutters, carrying the scent of distant cooking fires, a calm, homely smell that somehow made the unease inside him grow stronger. I understand, Hung said, his tone quiet but unwavering. Prepare the files and stay in touch with reconnaissance. We're not stopping here. Roger that, Hung, Fong answered before the line went dead. Hung set the phone down gently, his gaze lingering on the window, where the last sliver of sunlight was sinking behind the bamboo grove, leaving a dark crimson streak across the horizon, like a scar from a battle not yet finished. A soft gust stirred the papers on his desk. On the top sheet, his unfinished line read, "The suspect confessed." He stared at it for a long moment, then allowed a faint, steady smile to form, the smile of a man who knows the path ahead will be long, but necessary. His eyes glimmered in the amber light, the eyes of a soldier who never gives up. Under his breath, he murmured as if speaking to himself. Peace is often just calm water, hiding the storms beneath. The camera slowly pulled back, framing the window bathed in the last golden light of day. Outside, the cicadas sang their final chorus of the season, echoing into the twilight, heralding not an ending, but the beginning of another long night. And a new chapter yet to come. Stay tuned for the next episode tomorrow to see how the story unfolds.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến với mọi người video tiếp theo về câu chuyện của Lý Hoài Ca và cảnh sát Hùng nha mọi người. Như mọi người cũng đã biết ở tập trước thì Hùng và Hoài Ca đã cùng với nhau trải qua một ngày 20 tháng 10 rất là ý nghĩa. Anh đã dành trọn tình yêu cho cô, chuẩn bị những món ăn ngon và chuẩn bị những bó hoa để tặng cho Hoài Ca. Còn hôm nay thì sang tập mới. Đây này, chồng nó bị lỗi này, nó mãi nó không xuất được phụ đề, giờ sao ra?
Thì vẫn đang xử lý để chờ nó xử lý sao?
Này, nó xuất hết cái này luôn rồi. Chồng ơi, hôm nay có cái đơn nào của chồng ra nữa không? Hay là mình ra mình lấy đơn hàng về đi chứ? Cái miệng vợ khó chịu à? Sao?
Bà Ngân thì bà có vô nhờ bà trước đi.
Hôm qua bà mới vô xong. Hôm qua hôm kia để hỏi chị Phương xem có ai không hả? Ôi trời ơi, tạm biệt mọi người nhé.